screen. Good evening, everybody. What a great way to start the night with Brandy Blackford in the house, giggling as we get into her introduction of who's here tonight. We are really, really lucky because while Brandy is a fabulous event planner, and I've had the joy of working with her multiple times, the truth is she has started to help us, wedding event professionals, to introduce us to a plethora, that means a wide variety of couples who are getting married. And by the way, just so we're clear, they're still getting married. I scheduled this week 3 weddings that are within the next 3 months. So business is back. I don't want to say it's booming, but it's back. And I regularly meet with 50 or more couples who attend Brandy's shows. Oh, Brandy, don't do that.
Sorry, my friends.
That's
I'm trying
okay.
to get out of sharing, so
I'll just
don't
keep talking so nobody sees what's going on behind the screen.
I know. That's why I was like, I'm trying to get out of that screen so you can't see it.
Okay, so let me come back and simply say that Brandy runs a show that's online, and we get 50 or more couples that are brand new, not from the previous show, but are brand new that are getting married. They attend the show and they get introduced to us individually and as a group. I'm not going to give away what she's going to share, but I'm going to tell you, if you're looking to meet brides and grooms, and by the way, that includes brides that are marrying brides and grooms that are marrying grooms, this is the place to be. So let's hear from Brandy.
Yes. So thank you guys. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for attending. I need to tell a little bit of a background story before we launch into the show, to talking about how an online show is different from a typical bridal show. Like everybody here, COVID hit, my clients went away, and I had to figure out how can I help future clients, and how can I help other professionals that are going through the same thing I am. And I started thinking about where I get my clients from. And I have always been a big proponent of the in-person bridal shows. I've attended them ever since I started my business almost 12 years ago. And so I've probably got between 25 and 30 shows under my belt. And that's where I would get 85 to 90% of my business. And they weren't happening anymore. And I knew I wasn't the only one. And I also knew that I wasn't the only, that my clients weren't the only clients that were missing out. And so I decided to see if there would be any interest. So I put together my first one. It was kind of not perfect, but it was out there and it was good and it worked and people were excited. And then the next show, we doubled attendance. And then the show after that, we just kept maintaining that increase in attendance and the increase in interest, and we kept getting better and better and better. And I realized that it was a viable option. So that's where we came up with the show. But now I want to actually show you guys, we're going to talk about the show itself. So for some reason, it's telling me I have to exit my full screen, and I don't know why I have to exit my full screen. We'll try this way. Here we go. So not your typical bridal show. And I want to emphasize that the virtual shows that are happening are not your typical bridal show. Finding clients when the typical ways no longer work. And like I was saying, I was finding 85 to 90% of my business through the bridal show, and it was gone. I needed to replace those clients, and I needed to figure out how to do it. First, we're going to throw out some stats, because I am a huge fan of stats, because I think that they help solidify our position of why an online show would work and why it will work even after we're allowed to meet in person again. 43% of engaged couples attend a wedding show or an open house while planning their wedding. 43%. Those 43% aren't able to do that right now. Or if they're doing it in such a reduced capacity that 43% might be down to 10 or 12. 88% of couples want to plan their wedding fully online. They don't want to do face-to-face meetings. They don't want to do bridal shows in person anymore. They want to plan online. And 30% of couples are looking for online ways to connect with their vendors. So they want to see you on Zoom. They want to see you doing things virtually, because after the last year that we've had, where we've done almost everything online, that's where they want to be now. Sitting in front of a computer, holding a glass of wine, that's what our couples are doing right now. That's how they're planning weddings. That's how we need to be getting new clients, is on that computer screen. You want to hold a glass of wine, you can. I mean, some of my clients don't care if I hold a glass of wine, but but I need to know, where are you? Like, if you're looking for new clients, where are you looking for them? Or if you're looking through them through the traditional routes of Facebook and Instagram, good for you. But what about everybody else? What about the people who don't want to go on Facebook or want to go on Instagram? They want to still maintain some of the illusion of planning their wedding the way that we used to do it, but we can't do it right now. Are you one of the vendors like me? Did you count on in-person bridal shows and open houses that are no longer happening? Let me know in the chat if you guys used to count on in-person bridal shows or in-person open houses to get most of your clients. I know for me, and I've noticed this because I keep track of it, every local in-person bridal show has canceled because of gathering restrictions. But proposals have doubled during the pandemic. Let me say this again. Proposals have doubled during the pandemic. People have, because they've been forced to quarantine with their loved ones, they are now realizing the impact those loved ones have on their lives, and they want to keep them there. They are still getting engaged, and it's in record numbers, and we need to be there for them. The way we do things has changed because of COVID, and I need to know if you guys have changed with it. You need to be here. You need to be online. You need to be available. And you need to be ready to help these clients plan. People have become used to shopping online for everything, literally everything. You can get trees online. No joke, you can get trees online. You can hire somebody to come scoop your doggy's poop in their backyard online. It's virtually impossible to remain physically distanced in an expo or trade show setting. I don't see them coming back right now. Online options are not going anywhere, and they are more popular than ever. Look back at your own buying history over the last year. How many times did you buy something online that you normally bought in person? By moving into the virtual space, you're going where the couples are, and it's where they're going to remain. They're not going to go back to in person. But now you're like, great, yeah, I believe you, but what can you do? Well, embrace technology. Get on Instagram, get on TikTok, learn Zoom like the back of your hand. If you need other options, talk to Pearl at Lady Jewel. She is the queen of technology and knows it all. Offer virtual options for your meetings and services. Create an in this moment of COVID package, one that embraces the smaller restricted events of right now, and participate in an online wedding show. Why should you participate in an online wedding show? Like it or not, we can't gather with thousands of people. There is no setup and no waiting hours to tear down and go home for a virtual show. And you don't need to design a booth and man it for 8 hours. Online options are heaven sent for introverts and people that just can't attend an in-person show, like destination clients and clients that have large families. Marketing costs are negligible, booth cost is minimal, and attendees at virtual shows are not there for the freebies. They're actually there because they want to learn about your product or service. Most importantly, the couples that sign up and attend an online virtual wedding show are warm leads, ready to be turned into hot, happy clients. One of your options as a wedding professional and to steer your clients to that need a few more professionals is my show, the Arizona Online Wedding Show, the first and best, in my opinion, virtual wedding show in Arizona. The next show is March 21st. We have it in the middle of the day after church, so 11 a.m. to 1-ish p.m., depending on how many vendors we have. All vendor categories are welcome, and we don't limit the number in each category. But because I control the schedule, I make sure that you're not presenting back to back with somebody that's in your category. The show takes place on Zoom, which almost everybody in America has had some experience with. And we do offer a variety of profile options at very minimal price points. Our average signup is between 80 and 100 interested couples with an average attendance of 10 to 25 in-person attendees. But you actually get all 80 to 100 names to market to. You have a dedicated support team to help you present your business in the best possible way. And we advertise where the clients are looking right now for wedding professionals. We think we have an amazing show, but I don't want you to take our word for it. These are a couple of vendors that we've had that have left us a review about the show. One of them is Megan Podolsky with Butterfly Events, and the other one is Monique, and she runs a photography business. And both of them absolutely loved that it was well put together, that everything flowed, but mainly that they got to interact one-on-one with clients. And then
know what to expect, but it was like super like homey kind of feel, like everyone was super chill and nice and helpful. So right off the bat, like that was one of the first impressions. Like it was a great experience.
I was really excited to be a part of it because I have never had, shall we say, direct contact with potential customers. Certainly in a long time, and hardly even before COVID.
Well, I like the fact that we each get time to present about business, and I don't think that necessarily happens with the larger show.
I definitely like the more intimate setting. It's so much easier than having to lug all of your stuff down to a physical show. Like it's a 2-hour time commitment. We do rehearsals, we do the before and a little bit of the after, and we have a few other small time commitments for the online show, but it's nothing. I spend way more time than that just setting the thing up when I do the big shows in person. Like,
yes.
Have not, no. I was looking into it, but it's as a new business starting out, it's way out of my price range. So the online one was definitely one of the first that I was able to get into.
So for me and my business, what makes it worth it is the fact that it is smaller and you have time to actually talk with the potential clients. What I saw from the larger show is that there was too many people, not too many, there was a number of people and that they were just going up and down the aisles and you didn't really get time to talk with them about your business and that they were there for very specific things. So for me.
Yeah, I got one person reached out to me and we're in the middle of creating the contract for her wedding come in the fall of this year.
For doing this like up a year long, you guys going to do 5 or 6 of these this year? I'm willing to invest and make a 6-time commitment over a whole 12 months to test out this other kind of environment, because it's got to be better than standing around while thousands of people are walking around.
I'd say that it is worth your time and money, and give it a try. This is the new way of the world, so hop on board.
And then one last word from one of our attendees. And she actually sent me this email and she said, "Thank you, Brandy, for pushing through to make this expo happen online. We feel that we received a ton of information that will help us make the best decisions we can for the money that we have and the vision that we want." Before I ask if anybody has any questions, being so new to doing something that I've never done before. I am not a forward-facing person. I like being a planner. I like being in the background. So this did push me very, very much out of my comfort zone. But I found that I'm also a connector, and I was a connector when I was a planner, but it was behind the scenes, and now I'm a connector in the front. I'm forward facing now, and being able to get this much feedback, this much positive feedback from both attendees and vendors has been so morale boosting and lets me know that I'm on the right path and we just need to get there. So does anybody have any questions about the show or about what we've talked about or the difference between them or anything like that? So I see that we had one question about dress vendors. So we are actually, this is a super secret, you guys are hearing this here first. We are working on a runway show. It will not be a live runway show. It will be a recorded show that will be brought in using Scott's special secret sauce to make it appear like it's live, but it will be pre-recorded.
But that's a secret that we don't want to share. So
but we
don't
don't
tell
want to tell anybody about it. It's a
right.
super secret.
And then I guess, I don't know, I read the question differently. I thought she wanted to know how you were handling the way the vendors dress.
Oh,
and
again, I
so
went to
I'm not
wedding
sure if
gowns.
she was talking about dress vendors, and it's good to know that we're going to have a runway. But I think she might be asking about how they dress.
Yeah, the runway. Like, are you going to be doing a videoed runway, or were you going to, how you were going to be handling runways in your online show? So she answered my question. I don't know where you went with it.
That's okay. I'm always going someplace in the wrong direction. One of the things, thank you, Laura, I'll let you jump in just a moment. One of the things that Brandy kind of talked about, but just so that you understand, she and I are the co-host together. So when the conversation, when the photographer is presenting, travels into something that a planner can help with, we'll bring the planner in to then cover that as part of the interaction. Or if they're talking about catering and they talk about the photo booth and whether it should be open during cocktails or during dinner, and Stacy is there as the photo booth, we can bring Stacy into the conversation because she's there. So while each of us gets the one-on-one time to present who we are and what we do, they're actually there for the entire show, which means that we can call on their talents at any time to say, what do you think about that, Elizabeth? Do you think a tent is really necessary? And that really creates a community amongst the experience for the couples that are attending, as opposed to, well, don't go see that other DJ because he stinks. All right, go ahead, Laura, save me.
And like I said, we don't limit the number of professionals that are in each category because each one of us brings something very different to the table. So we had a show where there were 3 planners. It was Jerice, Pearl, and I. There were 3 of us. We all bring very, very different things to the table. Pearl focuses on corporate events, but she also does amazing multi-day with nationality specialties and ethnic specialties. And Jerice comes in and she does loads of weddings, but she also loves to handle the smaller, more intimate events that we celebrate: birthdays, graduations, mitzvahs, showers. And then I specialize in wedding management. I specialize in day of coordination. That's what I love to do. But we all got to talk, we all got to present, and we all got something different out of the show. So we don't limit it because community over competition, and because we all bring something very, very different to the table. Deborah said to talk about the goodie bags. And the swag bags were actually hugely, hugely successful this last show. So this last show was the first time we presented them. We do try to add something new to every show just to make it a new experience, to make it more interesting for everybody, and just to grow, because if we stop growing, then if we stop learning and stop growing, then we might as well just stop doing. So we did swag bags, and we had them up for pre-sale during the ticket sales, and then we actually had people during the show want to have them, and they were an amazing experience. But it's very different from what the in-person swag bags are. So the in-person swag bags, if any of you have ever attended a large show, you were required to bring between 3,000 and 3,500 printed pieces of material. And it can only be a printed piece of material. It has to be one single sheet, 8.5 by 11 or smaller. It has to be delivered to a very specific address in a very specific time frame. And everybody who walks in the door gets this bag full of paper.
Mhm.
And it's
And
full of paper.
And it is a bag of paper, and everybody looks the same. There's no differentiation. Help me out here. What's the word?
Differentiating.
Thank you. There was none of that going on. So everybody looked the same. But the end result was each of us are unique. And the swag bags that the Brandy Show offers allowed for the individual personality to shine. And that was a huge bonus. I just did, shameless plug, an EE Spotlight today. I'll be uploading it soon with Heather Rykowski, who is AIT Promotions. And I'll tell you, if you're buying your stuff from Walmart or something like that, forget about it. Look professional. Have a professional piece of swag that goes in the bag. I'll just leave it at that.
And our swag bags this time around, I don't limit the vendors to what they can put in. So we had the show itself provided the bag. It was a cloth tote bag that isn't the flimsy little recyclable bags that you get from the grocery store. These were actual heavy duty tote bags, and a glass water bottle, a reusable glass water bottle with a sleeve. And that's what the show itself provides. And then I personally put in a KISS kit and a Safe Travels kit. Both of those had various and sundry fun things that were in them. But our photo booth participant this last show put in cute props. And our bakery put in samples of their baked goods. Mm-hmm. And one of our other planners put in notebooks and pens. And one of our music groups put in a copy of their CD. And so they got to put in something that represented them as a business versus a piece of paper that mingled in with who knows how many other people's pieces of papers. And I can tell you, having done all those shows, you don't want to know how many of those bags I saw outside of the convention center with trash cans.
Yeah, the round file.
The whole bag, the whole kit and caboodle.
And the show is intimate enough that there's not a lot of crossover, but one of your shows had 2 photographers. They did not present back to back. They were separated, but it was really glaringly, in a positive way, how different each was. They each had their own style. Their lens captured things differently. They spoke about how they like to shoot, and their style was very, very distinctive. And so as a result, it was easy for the couples to say, this photographer or that photographer is best for me. And that's really what you want, because it goes back to appealing to your ideal client. Mm-hmm. Which takes me, yes, Laura, go ahead. I'll shut up. Go ahead, Laura.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
So my question is, can you walk us through what you do? I have not attended a show yet. So can you just kind of walk us through like what happens from like the beginning to end?
Of course. So the beginning is kind of like an EE meeting or any other kind of networking meeting that you have. We do some chit chat to make sure that we get all the late stragglers that want to come in. We have multiple co-hosts that are in. Scott is helping me behind the scenes running my AV and tech. Felicia is behind the scenes as Bridal Babe Media, handling the social media and the advertising. And the 3 of us comprise the team that puts together the show. So we chit chat back and forth for a couple of minutes at the beginning. And then I go into an introduction as to what the show will be and the basic format of what we're looking for, and some basic Zoom instructions, like if you want to change your view, if you want to unmute yourself, if you want to chat, that kind of stuff. And then we get right into the presentations. So the schedule is put together in advance, and it's published in advance. And each vendor gets approximately 10 minutes. And while I'm not looking at the clock and keeping you to 10 minutes exactly, we are very much in keeping you with the show. And then you get 10 minutes. The first 5 minutes or so, we ask that you do, and here's an example of the last show's schedule. For the first 5 minutes or so of your presentation, you can choose to just talk about your business. You can do a showcase of slideshows. You can do a video. You can do a combination, but we want you to talk about what makes you unique while still telling us what service you provide. Then the last 5 or so minutes, we spend chit-chatting about questions from the audience, questions from the participants. And if the participants don't have any, then Scott and I, based on some additional information we obtain from you and knowledge of how weddings work and how a photographer works or how a florist works, we then draw additional information out of you. So we may ask you, hey, besides weddings, what other things do you do? Or you don't do live flowers, do you? You do beautiful, amazing silks. Tell us more about the difference between silks and real flowers. So we would draw more information out of you that would be relevant to couples making decisions. And then you just saw transition slides. Those slides come up at the beginning of each person's presentation and at the end of each person's presentation. And then we just go to the next person and the next and the next until we're through all of our vendors. Then at the end, we do a little bit of wrap up. And then we would split everybody up into breakout rooms if that's what they wanted to do. And if they didn't want to go into a breakout room, we wish them the best. And we're done with the show.
So
Okay, thank you for that.
thank you for that. And I know Laura's dying to ask some questions. She's taking notes. Let me just, if I may, everything that Brandy said is absolutely correct. But wait, there's more.
There's more.
You know, Deborah is a great artist. And Inas is really fun with the photo booth, and Elizabeth knows how to keep everybody in the shade. But that does not mean that you know necessarily how to communicate your value to your audience, how you can, for lack of a better term, sell what it is that you have to offer.
Yeah.
Right. And Brandy offers some additional training that can help you with your green screen backdrop, how you're going to present yourself or how you're going to promote. And there's even the after show follow-up where she'll speak with the vendors and ask not only about your experience, but how it could be a better experience. The Robert and Cindy who play the guitar and the cello, and perfect examples because they actually perform live. And we talked about, can we clean that up just a little bit? What's sitting behind you? We don't necessarily need to see that guitar case or that particular speaker cable or whatever it is. And that helps to make them look just that much more polished so that the end result is for the next show, you're going to be better. And then a video of the whole show is available so that you can watch your presentation and say, man, I really suck. Or I can't believe how many times I said, and how many times I scratched my nose and picked my ear.
How many times you were fabulous and that you actually were very well received and that the participants had tons of questions for you. And maybe those are questions you want to include on an FAQ or in your presentation if you sign up for the next show.
Right.
So yes, we give you so much value for your money.
Okay.
There's a question about the grab bags. Do you mail them? I think that was put in a couple of times.
Yeah, no, we actually hand deliver the grab bags. So we split the valley up into 2 parts, and Felicia and I are driving around to each person and presenting them with masks and gloves and being socially distanced. If we get more than the 8 or so that we had at the last show, which was actually pretty darn close to 50% of the in-person attendees, we are going to set up that they can choose to go to one of the 2 celebrity locations and pick up their actual swag bag from one of the 2 celebrity locations. If you happen to have a storefront and you sign on and you want to be one of those pickup places just to get one more time in front of those people, we are happy to set you up with that. Because our ultimate goal, my ultimate goal, where my heart is for this is I want you guys to succeed. I want you to be here next year. I want to be able to refer my clients to you next year.
And then do you guys ask for us to fill out, like, do you have questions that you ask us to fill out, to give you answers to before the show so that you kind of
so
prepare?
so we have a ton of behind the scenes stuff. We have a Google Drive group that is set up for the show that has a location for your headshot, your logo. We have a swipe file in there for all of your social media needs, wants, and desires. We put in an additional information questionnaire that asks the questions that I, as a planner, have found that a lot of vendors typically don't discuss, but need to. So I ask those additional questions, and that's where I pull a lot of my questions from. We also have a private Facebook group. We do a rehearsal 1 to 2 days before the show so that I can see where you are, how you're going, what your lighting is going to look like, what your background looks like, so that I can offer all of the information that I found after doing these. This one will be our 5th one. What I found that leads you guys to success. So asking you guys that I need to see a little bit more light, or I need you a little bit closer to your camera, or I can't quite hear you. Or if I'm looking at your slideshow and I notice that you have a lot of transitions, and that if you don't have great internet, that lags and it creates an uncomfortable experience for our participants. So I might suggest that you don't do that. So we offer all kinds of support on the backside.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, Laura, quick, jump.
Well, most of my questions have been answered, but can you tell me a little bit more about what goes on in the breakout rooms? Is it like groups of people with bakers, or is it individual couples with?
So the way that the breakout rooms are slated to work is I will ask in advance so that I can have them pre-set up who of our vendors wants to have after show office hours, is what we market them as. If you want to do after show office hours, we will set up a break room for you. And the couples can go into any and all rooms they want to go into during the period of time that they're offered. So I don't force everybody into your room, but if they want to talk to a baker about a specific cake design, or about, hey, why doesn't a faux cake cost less money than a real cake? I know the answer, but they don't know the answer.
So is it multiple couples in the breakout room at the same time, or is
yes. It can be more than one if they choose to. But if they need more intimate one-on-one time with you, I would suggest that you either have a Calendly link where Pearl's going to be teaching everybody how to do that next week. Use a Calendly link or an online calendar option. Have that available, and that's a question we ask is, hey, send us your blurb so that we can put it up in the chat box, but then have that link available so that clients can book one-on-one time with you right from the show, like right there, right from the show.
Next question was, what's the maximum number of vendors that you would have to not make a show be too long?
Great question.
That is a great question. We have found that the couples don't seem to care how many vendors there are, as long as we stay to our 10 minutes per vendor. Okay. So I've had as few as 7, and I've had as many as 12, which is pretty much a double. And I haven't lost the participants at either end of the spectrum.
But the show is designed with a time schedule. So if you knew that you wanted to listen to the cake person or the photographer or the photo booth, you would know what time that they were going to be on, and you could jump in, listen to that individual, and then bounce out and come back if you wanted. So you don't necessarily have to be there for the entire time. But if they attend, then you get their contact information.
Okay, my last question.
You get their contact information regardless of if they sign in or not. If they sign up for a ticket, you get their information.
Okay, my last question is, I never did a lot of bridal shows because they were prohibitively expensive. Can you address, without specifics, can you address how many different kinds of costs there are associated with this?
Oh, sure. I don't mind being specific either. It's fine. We offer 3 profiles. They're called Profile A, Profile B, and Profile C. They're pretty simple. You get more support and you get more things, the bigger your profile is. So your profile A, you get your 10 minutes of presentation time. You get a backlink on the website, which I'm happy to bring up. It would just take me a second to grab it, but we have our own website. Everybody gets 2 profile sections on the website. One is your picture, just your picture with a hyperlink. The other one is an actual blurb with a picture, an email link, and a hyperlink. The profile A gets social media shout outs that Felicia takes care of. And then profile B, you get a Zoom interview that is published on the website versus a static image as your profile picture. You also get a Zoom critique of your presentation, and that is what is in addition to doing your profile B. And then profile C is our sponsorship level. So you get you get a bigger mention. You get to pick where you want to be in the schedule. If you want to be first, last, in the middle, second to last, wherever you want to be. You get almost double the social media mentions as a sponsor. Profile A is $100, profile B is $150, profile C is $200. There
And
are
it's
a couple of
very
add-ons
reasonable.
that are all
Sorry.
under $50. If you want to participate in the swag bag, it's $25 for me to do the actual like bagging up of them and storing of the materials. It's $25 for that, and whatever your cost is to create that item that you're putting into the swag bag. And there are a couple of additional add-on items, but nothing is super expensive. You could get out of the show at under $200 if that is what you wanted to do.
Thank you.
Sure. Deborah,
Once
you
again,
asked if it's all
great show.
Arizona-based. So I actually was able, one of the things as being the administrator is I get to pull more information out of the attendee list than we typically provide to everybody. We have a number of destination couples come in looking at the show because they have no idea how to plan a wedding in Arizona with everything shut down.
And we talk about that as well. How are we providing our services currently based on what the rules are? And they ask the same questions every other couple asks. What is your cancellation policy? What is your deposit policy? What happens if the rules change, and how do you adjust to that?
So you're charging the people attending the tickets?
No.
How much are their tickets?
So
it's free to them.
It's free to the couples. If they choose to purchase a swag bag, there is a cost for that. We also have a digital version where if they want to take advantage of the show specials that we encourage but do not require the vendors to offer, they can purchase a limited window of digital access to that. And then our newest addition, besides the fashion show, our newest addition to this show will be a ticket that will allow them to purchase the show itself that's been recorded. So they'll be able to purchase the recording if they can't attend in person.
Excellent.
So have you put together a survey that you shoot out to all the people, the people are getting married? And
so there's a post-event survey that goes out to everyone that I ask them 10 questions, and it's basically, was it easy? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are you going to follow up with anybody? What would you have changed? It's 10 questions, but each time I glean something new from it, and each time I just add a feature that somebody has requested.
So
without you've got positive feedback from them. Yeah.
Just a little piece of, you've done a wedding show once before. And a lot of times I've done them once and I'll never do them again, or I do them all the time and they're profitable. What you find is hundreds of people, notice I said people, not hundreds of brides, hundreds of people who are all taking your stuff, right? So it costs you your time and your money and whatever it is that you're giving away, your promotional products or your cake, all of that stuff. This show is minus all that because all those people are not getting married. They're doing something that weekend, and it's fun to get to taste free cake and look at the pretty dresses and be entertained with whatever's going on. These are couples that are getting married. They're not coming in online to waste their time. And you'll end up with a list from those shows, and the emails bounce. They're not really getting married. It's a vendor who's actually shopping other vendors. I mean, all that nonsense. And Brandy's show doesn't have any of that, for the most part.
I've got to get going. Brandy, great job. I actually attended one of the shows, and it really is a great show. I know Scott is the co-host. It's a really great show. And to Scott's point, it is people that are truly looking for the help that they need. So they're not just kind of, it's not a fun thing. And so if you're ready and you're showing the value, people are ready to hire your services. Now, they may not necessarily do right from the show, but these are people that are looking for our services. So make sure you have a great follow-up afterwards on how to continue to communicate and chat with them. And you can talk with Scott about that if you want as well. And then my last bit is, someone just asked about Zoom limitations, which you don't, because you have a pro Zoom profile. So I'll let you dig on that. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so much,
Pearl.
Pearl. Much appreciated.
So yes, I do pay for the professional Zoom level. I pay for the website. I pay for the professional level. We pay for advertising. This isn't just some little, like, what can I do with all of the free options? Like, we have definitely went above and beyond to create a user-friendly platform that everybody is pretty familiar with and pretty comfortable with, and are utilizing those professional features to place you in the best possible light in front of couples who are looking to hire. And they are so excited to find people that are still in business, that have adapted, that have moved forward, and are just excited to help them with their weddings.
There are other wedding shows and other individuals in the event industry who have turned to trying to promote some kind of a show or a visit at a venue or something. And their biggest challenge is they have tons of vendors and no couples. And I saw your face, Deborah. Thank you. Some of you might be familiar with this individual who I'm referring to. I don't want to trash anybody, but I will simply say that you won't run into that challenge with this particular show. We're not promising hundreds of brides, but we're promising that they're really getting married. And it's a select group, and they're in the process right now of shopping, and they're looking for each and every one of you.
So Felicia, are you still on, and are you in a place that you can talk?
I can talk, but I'm not going to show my face.
Since you're my social
we
media
want to see
guru
your face
for the show, would you mind talking about the social shout outs and all the swipe file and all the media that you create?
Sure. So each of the different vendors, once you are signed up to exhibit for the show, you're going to be put into a rotation of being featured on the different social media profiles, Instagram and Facebook. And then there's also a swipe file that's created with graphics of either your business or stock graphics in a bunch of different color schemes. So I understand that, your feed is going to be branded to you, but we try to make it as versatile as possible so that you can use our graphics to promote the show. You don't have to really go spend much time on creating and developing that part of the promotional material for your business, but it can still be branded to you and your services or your color schemes. We try to vary it as much as possible. I probably make anywhere from 20 to 40 graphics that maybe like half of them get used. So it's not necessarily that we're trying to provide you with as much as possible to be successful in promoting it and sharing about it with your profiles as well as ours. And then we do a lot as far as the different planning Facebook groups, as well as paid advertising on Instagram and Facebook to get it out to engaged couples.
And we are happy to give you the show logo if you want to go and create your own social media. If you've got your own way of wanting to showcase, then we are happy to give you the show logo, and you are welcome to utilize it and to talk about it. And we actually encourage you to post on your own social media channels. We encourage you to utilize your own email lists, because the more people that attend, the more successful you and your partner, your professional partners will be. And it cascades. One person tells 3 people, who tell 8 people, who tell 12 people, and it just gets better and better. And more clients equals more leads, and more leads equals more business. And we all love business. So where do we go to sign up? Scott so kindly put the link. There is a vendor tab, and there's an application down on the bottom of that vendor tab. If you need more information or more questions, or just want to chat, there is also an appointment scheduler set up that you can log into, and you can set up some time to learn some more about the show, or to ask questions, or to chat about whatever you'd like to chat about.
And a quick friendly disclaimer. I have no financial interest in this business. This is Brandy's thing. I am an advocate, as Laura is an advocate for Event Ensemble, as many others are advocates for one another in this organization we call Event Ensemble. Brandy is a member, and we like to support our members when they have something as special and productive as the online wedding show that Brandy brings. So thank you so much, Brandy. Great presentation, great information, and great questions. Everybody, you are like right on target here.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate all of the time, and I appreciate you guys logging in tonight. We haven't seen a lot of you in so long, and I was so excited to see you and see your beautiful faces, and hear how you're doing. And even if it was just to all talk about myself for just a little bit, I did appreciate seeing you all.
Good job, Brandy. Thank you.
Thanks so much. And if you have any questions, please reach out. You are welcome to utilize the website, or you can reach out to me directly through either Event Ensemble, or I know I should have my stuff up, but I don't have it up. I'm sorry. I didn't put my stuff in the chat.
A quick tip. There is an option that you can save the chat, which would include what we've been chatting about, as well as anybody's contact information. All you do is click on the 3 little dots, and it'll pop up a box, and it will give you the option that says save chat. And right there, it'll save it to a regular Word file that you can use to get Brandy's information and all the stuff that we were talking about. It doesn't record private stuff though. So if you're doing a private chat with someone else in the group, that you'll see, but we won't be able to see it. And when we save it, we don't see that. So don't worry about that. Deborah, you look great in that red and white with the black. It's just very, very stunning. Well done. And Stephanie Phoenix, I think you meant tonight's recording, and I will make it available once it loads.
Yes, because I think I'm on my phone. You don't have the option to save the transcript. So
not a problem. I'll include the link to the chat as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. Thanks everybody so much. I appreciate your time. And